As a realtor here on St. George Island, and particularly the Forgotten Coast of the Florida Panhandle, which stretches from Mexico Beach all the way down to St. Mark's, Florida, I get asked quite a number of times, what's it like living here on the Forgotten Coast? Hi, I'm Alan Bird with Anchor Realty, and I put this short video together to kind of go over the pros and cons of living down here from my perspective. And let's start off first with the cons. Primarily, living down here, we're lacking in what's called man-made entertainment. We're not like the Emerald Coast. We don't have movie theaters. We don't have bowling alleys. We don't have arcades. We don't have go-kart tracks. We don't have goofy golf. We don't have Dolly Parton's latest form of entertainment. We don't have Top Golf. So what we don't have in man-made entertainment, we make up making our own fun. Another issue would be the dining options. We don't have a lot of chain restaurants. We have virtually no chain restaurants, to be honest, because that's really not permitted. We have a lot of local restaurants, locally owned restaurants. That's kind of our jam down here. Most of it is, I guess you would consider it seafood fare. So, and they're spread out. So if you want to have different options, you're going to have to get in your car and drive 30, 45 minutes to experience those. And in the same vein, that goes along with the shopping options. We don't have big box stores. We don't have Target. We don't have Walmart. We don't have Lowe's, Home Depot, and we don't even have a Publix grocery store down here. It's basically a couple of Piggly Wiggly stores and some homegrown hardware stores. So you kind of have to work around that or do a lot of your shopping online with Amazon and Walmart. Another issue of concern, particularly for the elderly who are looking to retire, is health care. We do have a rural hospital, which is Weems Memorial over in Apalachicola, and we also have the Sacred Heart Hospital over in Port St. Joe. But if you're looking for critical care treatment, then you're 2 hours away. It's Bay Medical in Panama City or Tallahassee Memorial. And then lastly, more of a nuisance issue is our coastal insects. Now, mosquitoes everywhere, but ours down here, we pride our mosquitoes as being particularly vicious up in the pine woods. But there also is the no-see-um. I don't know what the genus species of this particular vicious animal is, but it's smaller than a gnat, which is where it earns its nickname, but it has a bite worse than a rabid cat. With that said, the pros kind of go to what I mentioned before, is that we kind of have our own, we kind of make our own entertainment, our own fun. And that can be with boating, kayaking, fishing, hiking. Most of this Franklin County is hosted by the state and the national forest. So there's plenty of trails that you can hike up into, as well as you can hunt up in there as well. And with the boating and the fishing, we've got rivers for freshwater fishing if you want to. We've got the bays, which provides plenty of fishing, whether it's speckled trout fishing, red fishing, and you can just throw on some waders and just walk out into the shallows to do fishing. You don't necessarily have a boat or need a boat. But if you have a boat, then you can go a little bit further out and maybe do some triple tail fishing, or maybe even catch a tarpon when they're on the run. And lastly, you've got the Gulf. So you can bill fish or you can bottom fish for the good eating fish, the grouper and the snapper when they're in season. So with that said, I kind of wanted to end this with a story of my childhood memory, really, of my dad taking me on the weekends, loading up the boat and coming down to the coast of Florida to fish. Back then, it was destined, and back then it was the luckiest fishing village in the world. It was nothing. You didn't have high-rise condos. You didn't have large developments, housing developments, and you certainly didn't have the traffic that you have there today. So, those were good memories that I had back then. We would drive down 331, hit Freeport, stop at the Ice House, as they called it back then. And I'm dating myself with this story. But, there were no convenience stores, and certainly were no convenience stores that had bagged ice. So you'd have to stop off at the Ice House, and they would run a block of ice through the chipper and then fill up your coolers with that chipped ice, and then off you'd go down to the coast. And then we would catch all the king mackerel we wanted to all day long, throw them in the cooler, and head back to Alabama. So when I came down here, I saw what I had remembered back in Destin and in the Choctawhatchee Bay area, that going back in time, and that's why they call it the Forgotten Coast. I love being down here because I get that sense of peace that you can't find over there, and it allows you the opportunity to kind of make your own memories. So if that's something you're interested in, making memories for yourself and for your family, and if you have friends that would be interested in that as well, I encourage you to give me a call. Just let's talk about your journey and about what your goals are in life, and hopefully maybe I can provide some help, maybe finding some real estate down here, either to move down here permanently or just as an investment property where you can offset the cost of a vacation home for yourself by renting it out. So give me a call, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day.